Hey team, welcome back to another e-commerce email marketing video. Today is going to be super helpful for all of you out there who are trying to create top tier, high quality emails and you don't want to look like you're just another drop shipping store. Even if you potentially are, we're going to make your emails look elite and top tier. To help you out, I'm going to give you access to 25 of my email marketing agency's Figma templates that you can steal and replicate either for your brand or for your clients if you're running an agency yourself. That'll be the first link in the description, so if you want to go download them at the start here and then follow along with me for the rest of the video, that's absolutely recommended. So I'm going to show you how to design an email in Figma using the templates I've provided for you. Then I'll show you how to slice them up and implement them into Klaviyo at the end. We'll also go over some basic Figma skills so that it's a lot easier for you to get accustomed to the platform if you're not used to it already. So you can use this video even if you're not using Klaviyo. That's just the only email service provider that I'll show the entire process for, including the implementation. I'm not going to be showing you if you use MailChimp or SendLane or anything like that, but 90% of this video is still going to be very useful for you. Now, important thing to note is this isn't going to be the most incredible email design ever, the one I create for you here and with you. I'm personally not by any means amazing at email design. That's why I have a team who does designing for my agency, because they are amazing and they use Figma and they use these templates to produce email results like these ones. Myself, when it comes to the design aspect of email marketing, I'm merely a novice, and that's why I'm the perfect person for you to learn from, as I'm not that far in front of you in terms of my technical ability within Figma and whatnot. So even if you're a complete beginner, this video is for you. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into Figma. All right, here we are in Figma. This is exactly what you guys are going to see after you download the templates. So obviously there's the plug, the shameless plug first of all. So if you do run an ecom brand and want help extracting an extra 50 to 250K out of your email list every month, go to mvpmarketing.com and book a call. We're a full stack email marketing team, meaning that we'll do the strategy, copy, design, Klaviyo implementation, testing, etc. So you don't have to worry about it. And if this is a learning curve that becomes too steep for you and you think your business is outgrowing and you don't have the time to put in the learning curve, reach out and we'll be able to sort you out. So I also put the Figma controls here, some basic Figma controls for yourself. So these are for Mac. You should be able to figure out what it is for Windows based on this, but scroll up and down naturally is just scroll up and down. Command and scroll is zoom in and out. Shift and scroll is side to side, and then there's a hand icon in the top left where you can click and drag around. But for me, I can use a button on the side of my mouse and drag around as well. So you might be able to do that too if you can. Now, I also just recorded this entire video, but I wasn't recording the screen. I was just recording my face, which was quite frustrating when I found out, but it's all right. It means you're going to get a better product now. So here's the templates. The first thing you guys will need to do when you download them is go to this arrow and duplicate it so that you can actually edit it yourself, because I haven't given you edit access, just view access to these templates. But okay, let's jump in and talk about grabbing an email. Now there's 5 hero section templates and 5 body section templates here. Now that means there's 25 possible email combinations you can make just by using these 2. So if you want to make another 5 templates of your own for each, then math's not my strong suit, but what does that make it? Like 100 different options you can make or something like that. So basically what we want to do is I'm going to teach you how to make this email, which I just made when I did the video before. I thought I'd leave it there as our reference track. So if we come here, this is what you'd see, like above the fold is something like that on your email, and then you'd be like, okay, cool, I can shop now, I can scroll down, a little bit of copy. That's obviously, I would probably rather reframe that part there because that looks bad with just one word there, but anyway, then you go, oh, okay, cool, some bestsellers sections, and they've each got their own benefits and buttons. So that's what we're going to go through how to make. You can obviously make a wonderful range of emails here. So let's jump into it. First thing you want to do is you want to grab a hero section template. So I'm going to grab this one because it's the one I just used, and you can just simply copy it and then bring it. You don't have to bring it into a new Figma board or whatever they call them, but you could just do it to the side if you wanted, but I'm just going to drag it over here. And important to note, all of the templates are 600 width, 600 pixels width, which is standard for your emails, and it's going to look good on both desktop and mobile. So you're not going to need to worry about that. So before we even go and drag in a body section, let's just get our hero section sorted. Super important part of the email, the most important part, what appears above the fold. So basic run around with Figma. You can see where it's highlighted is what we're working on. Over to the side, you've got your different layers. So if we want to open up Hero 3, which is what this one's called, you can see there it is highlighting different areas. You can see here on the right, this is where you make a lot of the edits to that specific area. So first things first, let's add in the logo. So you actually want to remove this logo text layer, and you want to then come up to the Figma icon in the top left, hit File and Place Image. Now I've saved the logo in here. Hopefully you've got your design assets ready. And see how it's now got the image next to my mouse? What you can do is actually click in that box when it's highlighted, and it's going to drop the image into the size of the box, which is super helpful. Now, second thing, that obviously looks bad, the color difference. So what we want to do is we want to change the frame and the background color of the image. So we grab that layer there, and you come over to the right where it's got the fill color. At the moment you can see it's just white. You click in the color box, and then you have two options here. You can grab the color picker. You can, obviously if you know the color code, you can just type it in, or you can use the color picker, which I'm going to use here. And I've also got some colors up the top here, which we're going to use throughout the email, which is something you can do if you'd like. If you're working with a brand or you're running a brand yourself, have all your colors or your brand guidelines listed out there, so it's easy to just keep selecting which color you're using. However, for this sake, I'm just going to click on the logo to make sure we get it the exact same. And as you see there, you can't tell that they're any different. So that's what we want. Now let's move in, and we're going to add another image, the exact same as I did for the logo, and we're going to pick our hero image. Obviously I'm working with very limited assets with my protein, just what I could find online. So the hero image isn't exactly the best here. It's not the best fit, but it's good enough for argument's sake here. Now, once that's in, we want to actually be able to see our headline. So let's first of all go and change the color. I'm also going to make it the same as that top color there. And I'm also going to change the font, so that you can do that by over in this text section. At the moment it's play font, which looks pretty bad. We'll use this plus Jakarta. It's pretty basic looking font, and then we'll just change the copy to bestsellers. We're getting really creative with the copy today. Sub headline, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to change the color. We're going to change the font, and we're going to write, I don't remember what I write there in the other one. It was probably something like "get them while you can." Some really inventive copy today. What we want to do here is under the font is you can change how bold it is. So you can see the different things here. So I'm just going to put that as maybe semi-bold. No, I think bold looks better. Put that as bold. Now that looks a little bit too spaced out for my liking, those two from each other. So I want to actually come and select this one, which I held command then. So if I go out here, you can see it's only highlighting the whole thing. If I hold command, I can highlight specific parts of the email. So that's another little trick for you there. Now I'm just going to press up on my keyboard to just move that a little bit closer to the headline. And then I actually want to select them both together. So I'm going to hold shift and select them both. I'm going to move them both up a little bit further so that we can get them away from the main attraction of the hero image, which is obviously the product here. Now, next thing is that compare these, that's got a little bit of drop shadow on it, and it sort of stands out a little bit. This here is just plain Jane text, right? So we want to again select both of these layers. Oh, sorry, I selected the wrong layers. Select both of those layers. You want to come to effects. And now you can see it's added a little bit of drop shadow, right? But we can change that further by pressing on the sun. Now this is the Y axis and the X axis. So that's obviously going to change where it looks vertically. So if I was to change this to say 25, it's going to be a lot further away, as you can see there. So we want to move that back to 4. 4 looks pretty good. And maybe we'll put like a 1 on the X axis. And I'm actually going to make that 100 opacity, which is sort of how visible it is. So you see how much more it pops now that it's 100. So we're going to leave it like that there. I actually don't think I want as much opacity on the subheadline. Maybe we'll make that 75. Make that not quite pop as much. Cool. So I think that looks a lot better than it did. Now, the next most important part, or probably the most important part, is the call to action. Because the above the fold section, as you know, this hero section is all going to appear above the fold of the email, is where you want to have the topic of the email really clear and the call to action. So we've obviously, this email is going to be about our best sellers. Get them while you can. We're not running an offer or anything in this email. It's just a pretty basic generic idea because it was easy to find their best sellers on the website. So, and the other part is the call to action. So let's work on the CTA now. So we're going to hold Command again, highlight this layer, and let's change the text to shop now. Okay, I don't really want to do too much else with that at the moment. Then I want to hold Command again, select the actual button, and come and change the color. I'll show you how to do it up here. Color picker, select the color you want, and oh, there you go. So now we do need to change the text. So I want to highlight it again, and we will make it this same color as up here. And there we go. So, okay, call to action stands out, but it doesn't look great, does it? Let's be honest. So let's have a look here. What you want to do is look at the size difference. I made this one a lot bigger. What button do you think is going to get clicked more? I mean, you need to test it, but if you were to have a guess, and your best educated guess on which button would get more clicks, do you reckon it's the one that's nearly double the size or this little one? The answer is quite naturally going to be the big one, right? So we want to make that obvious. Not that it's not already, it stands out a lot, but we're going to make it more obvious. So what you're going to do is you want to hold both layers and just make it bigger. You can hold shift and it'll make it all at once. If you hold shift and alt, it'll do things like that. So let's hold shift and alt and make it a bit bigger. Let's go something like that. And now obviously the text needs to be bigger as well. So you want to come and highlight all that. Let's see what font size, maybe 40. That looks okay. So let's again highlight both layers here. Make sure that they are aligned, which you do up in the top left here. Make sure they're center aligned, both vertically and horizontally, which now they are. So let's also make this text stand out. Let's put a bit of drop shadow on the text there. Maybe we'll go 50% opacity. And then let's put some on the actual button as well. Let's go maybe 75 on here. Let's go 75 on that button. Okay, I think that looks better than that one even. I don't like the placement as much, so I'm going to fix that up to make it a little bit lower. Let's see what we think now. I think that's okay. Maybe it's a little bit too much drop shadow on the bottom one, but I'm going to leave it for the sake of this email. So I'd say hero section is good enough. Again, I don't love the image, but it's what we're working with here. So you can see I've got some copy in there. I'm actually going to do that part last. It's sort of a transition phase because I want to show you how to do the body section. So if you want to use the same one that I did before, same deal, just come and copy the whole group and paste it in here. And then the best thing about Figma is it all snaps pretty well. So if you just line it up, it's all going to snap into place for you. No problem at all. So first thing we want to do here is change this heading. And let's just go something really creative like best sellers. And again, we'll change the text. And that's probably all I'm going to do there. Now, this part is really, oh, pardon me. This part is really repetitive. So you can actually just sort of make it once and then copy them down if you'd like, is typically the best way to do it. So now I've given you a lot of the basics, so I'm not going to necessarily talk through every step. If there's anything different that I do in this next phase while I go through, I will tell you. Other than that, I'm just going to fast forward it here and then come back to the end after a quick little time lapse of me building this email. Okay, so I've gone and created this part here that I did nothing fancy there, as you guys would have seen. I just sort of moved things around, typed in the copy, changed some fonts and whatnot, the same things I told you. I actually changed it. I decided this looked better not in all caps with these buttons. These buttons as well, you could play with the drop shadows and whatnot. I'm not going to here. And I also changed some of the copy. I decided it looked better with more space and things like that. So I'm just going to change some of the alignments here because I'm a bit of a perfectionist at times, but that's sort of the gist of that. Now, what's important is I think this needs a bit more space. It looks a little bit too crammed. Now, you could always put like dividers in here and make it nice and compact. Like this is going over a little bit too far there. But I'm going to try and not get too pedantic about those sort of things. What I do want to show you is if you do want some more space in here, what you can do. So you want to select this part and just drag it out and just simply make the email longer. And then you want to highlight certain things at a time. So I'm holding Command while I do that there. And now if you hold Shift and press down, it's going to make it a bit faster. And I just want to space that out a bit more. Let's say maybe to there. And then we're going to do the same thing in this middle section. So I'm holding Command there to select all that in the middle. Oh, actually I didn't select all of it. I missed a button. There we go. I think we've got it all now. No, I missed creatine that time. Make sure I've got it all this time. Hold Shift and then we can move that down a bit as well. Maybe one more. Okay, and now we want to do the same with the top one. And hold Shift and move that down a little bit as well. Maybe one more. I think that looks a little bit better, a little bit more spread out, a little bit more space. And I want to now do the same with the heading. Make sure that's a little bit more separate from the other parts of the email. Now I think that looks a little bit nicer, more white space. It looks a bit cleaner than it does when it's all crammed in on this left email. So I understand now you want to add this middle section in, right? Now you could obviously do a lot of different things with transitions. You could look at making the colors a bit different to make that a little bit more visually appealing, which I've shown you guys the skills to do that. But how you would add another section in, you just grab this section, just simply drag it out of the way, and then come and grab a rectangle, which is this icon here, or you can just press R on your keyboard, and you just come here and just draw a rectangle. It's nothing too fancy there. Obviously, Figma is really nice. It helps snapping all the things together. We want to change the color to be the same as that background email for the sake of this. Actually, I think we want to change that all to be the color of this top part. Let's do that. I think that would look better. So now we've changed that. Now you want to add some copy, so you'd simply just come to the T, the text section, and you click in there. That's at the moment going to show us white, which we don't want. So come and click here. And I'm going to go grab some copy from their website. Okay, so I've gone and grabbed some copy from their website that we can add in here. So obviously it came in as massive and not what we want. So first of all, we'll change the color and we'll change the font size maybe to 24. And then we'll just space this out a little bit so we can actually see what we're looking at here. Okay, so we've got that in there now. Now we could leave it bolded like that. I don't really want to. I think I want to change the font too, potentially. Let's have a look. What fonts can we work with here? Okay, we don't want it bolded at all. Let's just say we want it regular. And then what we want to do is space this out a little bit so it looks nice. Adding size, toning up, losing weight. Whatever your goals, you need to be dedicated to training, nutrition, and recovery. I want to change that to we're here to support you. And then check out the crowd favorites. And I'm in Australia, so I spell favorites differently. I'm not dyslexic. I can spell. Okay. That's okay. We might want to make that a little bit bigger. Again, maybe we want the font to be like 26. Is that going to make it look bad? I think that looks a little bit better. We could always bring this in. I don't want it to be that close to the edges. I think that might look a bit better. We've got that dedicated thing there. You can play with that as much as you like. I probably wouldn't have the one word left there, but for this sake we are. And that actually doesn't look that good, that thin. Can I do like a medium? Yeah, I think that looks better there. So there we go. That's pretty much the email. I'm just going to do some final tinkering. That looks better. And then because we've got a bit too much space here, you just simply grab the rectangle, make them both a little bit. You grab the rectangle, make it a little bit smaller, drag that back up until they connect. And then we'll say that that is our email. And we want to do the same here actually. Drag that up to there. And that's our email. So as you can see, we've got pretty much the same thing there. I actually think the second iteration that I did ended up being a little bit better. So obviously I like to look at it like this sort of thing. This is how it's going to look when it's in the inbox. They're going to get that part first. And be like, oh, okay, cool. Going while we can. Shop now. Am I adding size? You don't have to have that copy in there if you don't want. I just think it sort of supports a bit of a bridge in the email. And then you got bestsellers. They each have their own call to action. And we go from there. So next thing I need to show you is slices and how you slice them and then implement them into Klaviyo. So slices are pretty easy. You want to come up, you can either press S on your keyboard and it's going to automatically do it, or you want to come to the frame tool or the second tool here and select slice. Now it's so simple to do. Let's start by slicing the header. You simply just grab a rectangle like that. Like I said, it'll sort of snap there pretty well for you. Boom, there's the header. And it's brought down here, slice one. So maybe I want to change that to header slice. Great, and then S again. And sort of go here, and then we'll grab slice 2, which we'll call our, let's go hero slice. And then we'll grab product 3. Now to export them, what you would do is, let's say we'll start with, where's my hero slice? Here. So you grab your hero slice and you click on it on the layer section, and then over on the right it'll have export, and you simply just hit export hero slice and it will ask you where you want to export it, and mine is the Figma design video folder. So that's where I'll be exporting it. So you want to export all those slices we just made, and then I'll go show you how to set it up in Klaviyo right now. So now we're over in Klaviyo. This is again a fake account. We just want to go and create blank email. I'm going to show you exactly how to import all the pieces. It is so simple. So once you're in Klaviyo, you want to drag an image block over and simply come to browse image library and pick the slices that you just had. So I'll fast forward and do that for you now, and then I'll show you how to link it all up. Okay, so we've added all the images in. As you can see how it looks here in Klaviyo. It looks the exact same as it did in Figma, which means we have pretty well done our job. Now we need to remove that content there. At the bottom, you have your social links and then your text. Now you can actually change the color of your text here and just write a bunch of random stuff underneath so no one's going to see it. And that's going to help your deliverability, little hack for you. Obviously, you know your social links here. That's how you add them in. But in terms of where you link the images to, so for example, this one, shop now, you might want to drop that to your bestsellers page because that's what the call to action is. So you would just grab the link, you click on this image, you grab the link from your website, and then you just paste the link in there. Obviously for this one, you would go specifically to that product, specifically to that product, specifically to that product, and maybe the header, you just want to drop them to your home page or something like that, or potentially your bestsellers page. So that is pretty well the video. That's everything you need to do. That's everything from base creation of landing in Figma for the first time to creating an email like this and implementing it in Klaviyo. So hopefully this helps you guys. If it does, please let me know. Please give me some feedback in the comments of some other videos you'd like. I think I might need to do some more. Maybe get one of my designers to join me in a video and get some expert tips and expert knowledge for you guys in terms of the design side of things. If you need any help with campaigns, flows, copy, let me know. Apart from that, make sure you download the templates in the description. And if you're an ecom brand that need help with this sort of thing, book a call. Also, links will be in the description, or you can go to mvpmarketing.co. Appreciate your time and best of luck. Get designing.